comedy talent, so I don't want to piss her off.
Well, and get confused. You could be getting attacked by a bunch of comedians wanting to get to know you. So
it's happened many times. Trust me.
I bet.
These people are like, oh, I thought you were the important one. It's like,
oh, and you're like, thank you, I am.
I know, right? I think we're live, Carol, and I tagged you in the post.
Yay.
And I'm just going to talk to you, Carol, for a second before I do the professional stuff. We are live. We've been live for 23 seconds. So thank you, Zuckerberg. You're right on it today. Facebook people, we're live on Facebook. And this is the day that you get to meet somebody I adore. And her name, for comedy purposes, is Carol Johnson. She has another name, just like I do. And the other name is Carol
Leung.
I don't like mispronouncing things.
That's okay. It's Chinese. I don't look Chinese. It just adds to the confusion.
Yeah, that's a really good cover. I should try something like, I don't know. Nah, I shouldn't. I can't. I don't want to do it. It would be like hack. I'm going to read you the intro that Carol Johnson sent me. But first, Comic Spot people, take a look at Carol Johnson over there in the brick background.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. What do you have to say hello to people? Like, what do you want to say to encourage?
Linda, I'm just so impressed to have you interviewing me this morning, and I would only get up this early for you.
So. Oh my gosh, you're so kind to me. You're so sweet. Okay, I met her at different shows. She has embedded her way into the hearts of some of my closest comedy buddies, and she is so bright on stage. She has been doing comedy about a year, I guess it is. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And she already has a very strong on-stage presence and persona, and her material makes me die laughing because sometimes it's just too much like my life. I'm like, are you watching me? Her jokes are way different, but some of the stuff she's experienced is just like me. So I enjoy listening because, quite frankly, I get tired of talking. I'm going to read you her intro, people. Here we go. I never read these and study them and memorize them because I want to authentically be shocked and amazed. I glanced over it, but now you're going to get the real in the moment response to what if I was reading this by myself. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Carol Johnson is a native Californian, divorced baby boomer, hopeful, almost empty nester. Okay, I'm ahead of her on that one. She finally has time for her passion. See, we have everything. It's like we're the same person.
I know, twins separated at birth.
That's it. When daddy had us unconjoined, it was just because he got tired of you bumping your head out the window. So
there you go.
It's just the way it is. She finally made time for her passion, stand-up comedy, making people laugh by laughing at herself as she shares her life stumbling around the hurdles of aging, divorce, and dating. With a year of stand-up under her belt, she is a final. Listen, I've got 7 years in comedy. I haven't done what this lady has done. With 1 year of comedy under her belt, she is a finalist in the U.S. Comedy Contest, has performed at Flappers, Burbank Comedy Festival, the Palm Springs International Comedy Festival, Tao Comedy Studio, WWC Comedy, Comedy Heights, Comedy Sucker Punch, has performed in over 80 Zoom shows, and is now the goddess of humor on Love on Lockdown on ASYTV. She can't wait to get in front of a live audience again. So OMG, 1 year and she's done more that I've done in 7 years. And she's probably dating more too, because I'm dating goose egg. Well, right now it's probably safer to have a goose egg in that department.
Oh yeah, yeah, no. Not leaving my house till I get a vaccine.
Yes. So Carol Johnson, welcome to Comic Spot. What is
Thank you.
I know your comedy backwards and forwards. I've heard it. I love it. I love new stuff you always throw in there. But I want to know, like, how are you making it through this? Really, honestly, bottom line, how are you really making it through this stinking pandemic?
You know, I am one that believes that everything happens for a reason, you know, the divorce, even the pandemic. If it had not been for this horrible history we are living through right now, I would probably still be doing open mics, you know,
Yes.
open mics with boys talking about their penises. That's
They do?
they do a lot, you know, and a lot of comedians haven't really grasped Zoom, and they're still fighting against it, and they're doing, you know, outdoor comedy and stuff. But honestly, Zoom has been great for me. I think I'm a lot better now than I would be if I was just still doing open mics. And I've met so many wonderful people like you. This has been great for networking. I would never have met you if I was doing mics in San Diego.
Never, never, never.
And I'm the goddess on, you know, a subscription TV channel, but still it's TV. And I've got invitations to do live comedy in Staten Island and other places when the world opens up again. So
That's so great. I want to find some women that want to travel the United States and do comedy for a year.
that would be awesome. I'm with you. That would be so much fun.
Like an entire year, just go from city to city and hit the little cities, the big cities.
I
You know,
think it would be great.
yeah, even if we just get guest spots in every stinking city and dive bar across America, I would just love it.
Well, we've got a lot of life experience. We've got lots of crap to make funny, you know, and lots of comedy to share. And I know there's still women out there that need to hear this, you know. So
Yeah.
I think a world tour would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. And now, we'd have no trouble in Iran because we're covering up our faces too.
I know, right? We're already halfway there.
Say that joke in Iran and then you need to run.
Right. No, I know. Thank
Well,
God for free speech in America.
yeah, up till lately. And then the
I know.
PC culture.
Oh man, I tell you, I've told my kids they are living through the strangest time period. I have a friend, she's going to be 101 in March. And even she says this is the worst period she's ever lived through. And she lived through World War II. So, and the Depression.
Wow.
So,
I made a joke about the fact that, everything's so terrible. I said, I went to the restaurant, the diner, and the waitress wanted to know if I wanted a turnover. And I said, oh, no, thanks. My relatives have been doing that all week. Stupid. It's just stupid.
that's
But,
funny.
our relatives, if they're watching, they're turning over in their graves.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, who would have thought last year that we would be stuck in our homes? It's so un-American when you really think about it. But to get back to our lives, this is what we have to do. So, like I said, thank God for Zoom and Zoom comedy, because I would not be able to do this without it.
I'm only half Jewish, and I never thought that I'd have anything to relate to Anne Frank like this.
Right?
And then when I complain about it, I'm like, yeah, but you're not having to hide behind a wall and be quiet. She didn't have Zoom.
Oh, I know. This is great for connecting,
Yes, it is so much so. talk to me about who you are in the work world. Aside, put away all comedy. I want to hear about who you are. Are you presently out in the work world with a day job?
I'm not. In my previous life, before having children and giving up my career for my exes, I was a buyer. Do you remember the old Broadway stores?
I think they were nice clothes, weren't they?
They were, well, they were only in like California and Nevada. They were kind of like between Macy's and Nordstrom's.
Yeah.
If you ever watch, I think it's James Corden show. I think it's his show where you can still see the Broadway Hollywood sign in the background. It's I don't think they'll ever get rid of it. It's like a historic neon sign. That was the first Broadway store. So I liked buying stuff. It was fun. And now here I am on the other side of raising kids.
Wow.
Retired, thankfully. And so I get to spend a lot of time doing comedy.
And you were married a few times. So do you want to speak about that?
Just once. Once was enough. One and done. That's all. We were together like 30 years. It's one of my jokes. And then I was traded in for a newer model. Those midlife crisis, real stuff.
Man, it's hard to make that funny, but if you can, anybody. You come across like, when you're on stage, like you're totally fine with everything that happened.
Oh, I am. I think after divorce, you go through a bumpy period trying to find a new place for you. Because I never fit in with the trophy mom group. I was an older mom, and I have finally found my tribe. Comedians. This is my tribe.
Me too.
Took me a while to find you guys, but here I am, and I'm so happy.
I know. I wish I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, I was grade school, second grade, I was pulling pranks. I went to the principal more times. I'm surprised they didn't think I was having an affair with the principal. And, like I always was, I was always artistic with comedy. It always oozed out of me. And I never felt like I found anybody that could identify with that. They were like, ooh, like, that's bad. You shouldn't, not that I was saying, comedy was very much looked down on as, for the dumb people. If you were smart, you'd be thinking about math, everywhere you went. And now, up until the PC culture, comedy is like, people are like, oh, you're so brave to do comedy. Are you kidding me? You have no idea how many times people tried to shut me up.
I know, right? Especially, and I hate to say it, and it's horrible having to still say female comedian. We are comedians, but there's still few of us, much less than male.
Yes. I don't mind being dominated by a man. It's not at work. I won't say anything about top or bottom. Okay, so let's go into your childhood. Who were you growing up? Were you the funniest in the room wherever you went?
Well, I had a harsh childhood. Just could not wait to grow up. That I've started making jokes about it. My parents were the perfect match made in heaven. She was an alcoholic and he had PTSD. So you can imagine what that was like.
That's exactly like my parents.
See, isn't that wild? I think we do. It gives us stuff to make fun of. If you have the perfect childhood, what are you gonna complain about?
Yes. All my parents ever did was argue. What about yours?
Oh, they went over the arguing thing, and bad. They divorced when I was very young, so that saved me from certain harm, I think. And I was really quiet when I was younger. But in high school, I started entertaining. I was a dancer. Made a lot of money belly dancing. Ching ching, if you can believe that. In the good old days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. So I've actually always liked entertaining. And I remember back to when we were practicing, like for shows, I would always, that's probably where the comedy relief started. I would make people laugh just by doing weird things during our practice.
So you were like the Lucille Ball of the group.
You know, they would actually say that's which looking back, it was like, wow, that was so kind of them to say that.
Looking back at the time, not so funny.
I know, lots of physical comedy, which was fun.
Do you have any videos of you doing belly dancing and being the jokester? I would die laughing to get one.
You know, it's too bad. If we had cell phones back then, we would have so much history, but it's all just in my head, you know,
Oh, I love it.
which is a shame, but yeah.
You could do a sketch comedy routine and put it on TikTok. It would probably go viral.
You're right. I've been thinking about doing TikTok. It's like everything takes so much time. You know, I'm just now trying to build a website that takes forever. I know TikTok is great. I think Instagram also has a quick video feature that I might try.
Nice. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forget which, it was a comedian that said that they started using the Instagram and it was just great. So
How has it been for you to start doing comedy? Have you done like improv and stage drama?
I have. I actually started doing an improv class and I met some great women friends doing that. And it just didn't feel like that's exactly what I wanted to do. And doing stand-up was something that I always thought I'd at least try, like a bucket list thing, like at least an open mic. Um, I had bought a comedy book like back in the 80s. My ex had told me I wasn't funny. Turns out he was wrong about a lot of things. So yeah, I got up on an open mic and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then ended up taking classes at the Comedy Palace in San Diego and got my first booking at Flappers.
That's so great. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was very cool.
And I think because you have a background in not comedy, just like in improv and stage performance with belly dancing, you have a great presence.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. I guess it helps. I danced half naked, so being up on stage with clothing on and a mic is not much different. It's just
Yes. And
my
bonus.
soul's naked now.
Yes, 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 indeed. So you have children. How do your
I
children
do.
like you being, what ages, sexes are they? Have they come out as what, have they determined what their sex is yet?
Yes, they have. Surprisingly enough, a girl, 25, lives in New York City, you know, as far away from home as she could get. I guess my own marriage brought a lot of anxiety into the children as well. And my son's 23.
Wow.
But I always
Do they
loved
have
them.
careers?
And my daughter, yeah, my daughter's a photographer in New York City, and actually works for a company that photographs art installations and museum pieces for their archives. So, and she's had some photos in quite a few shows. So I'm really proud of her.
Wow. There's a New York comedian named Mark Helfgott, and he's part of Gladys Simon's room. And Mark is doing the same thing. He's always
Wow.
at museums doing wonderful photos. So maybe your daughter and Mark Helfgott can get to know each other. He's
Yeah,
an older comic like me.
that's so cool. Very cool.
Yeah, you've met a lot of my friends. You've met a lot of people coming up in comedy in a very short period of time. Do you want to speak to some of the people by name that you've met who have helped you?
Oh my God. Of course, Tony the Beloved he plays Cupid on Love on Lockdown. He's the one that gave me the title of Goddess of Humor. I mean, how awesome. I always wanted to be a goddess.
Wow,
And of
that's
course, the gang at the Comedy Palace, Bijan and Jesse, they've been great. And Rand, actually, before life got shut down, was allowing me to start learning how to host, which was fun, but
nice.
kind of hard. In real life, you've got the paper and you've got and you've got a lot of stuff to juggle and trying to remember people's jokes and their names and, bringing them up on stage. So that was good for my brain cells.
Yes. Bijan, was he ever in the Portland, Oregon comedy scene? We had a Bijan.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know Jesse was touring with Vicky Barbalak
Wow.
before life was shut down again. So
What's Jesse's last name?
I think it's Evans. Jesse, I feel so bad that of course I'm blanking, but it's early. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
And I'm dying to meet Tony Calabrese. Is that the one that gave you the title?
No, it's weird. San Diego's a small comedy town and I have never met him. Isn't that weird?
It's so weird. My daughter's 44 and she lives in Murrieta.
Wow, that's not too far.
Yeah. So have you ever aspired to do the Pachanga Casino?
I would love to, before, when I was just looking for open mics to do, I was constantly surfing the net, trying to see who would, how you submit for a lot of these places. Even friends of mine, a great restaurant, I'm going to get a shout out. If you live in Los Angeles, I got to do this. La Bruschetta on Westwood Boulevard. Get takeout. They are struggling, but have been in business for 36 years. The reason I'm bringing them up, besides they're my best friends, their restaurant was in the original place where the Comedy Store was originally before it moved to Melrose.
I'll be darned.
And before he sold the Improv, they were friends of the owner. His name is blanking out on me. I just had it in the back of my mind and I forgot. So
Okay.
It's like all of these almost happens for me right before lockdown and stuff. So,
well, yes, I hear that a lot. Well, what is it that you want to say to people if they're thinking about doing comedy or they've been grinding for 7 years and they haven't gotten as far as you?
Well, if they've been grinding and haven't gotten, I'd take classes, read books. I've read so many books and taken classes with lots of different people because you can always learn something from somebody else. I'm always writing and rewriting in my brain when something and trying and retrying. And to somebody that hasn't tried stand-up, do it. It's an amazing rush to get up on a stage. I mean, if people don't laugh, that's not the worst thing that can happen to you in life.
So true. What's the funniest experience when you've been on a live show or a Zoom show?
Well, the funniest experience, it was horrible. I was with these great guys. They do and they're actually improv, but they do a class, not a class, an on Zoom show where they combine stand-up and interviewers like you and stand-up comedians. But I have asthma. I had a horrible asthma attack. In all of the shows I've ever done, I've never had that happen. So that was bad.
How bad did the asthma attack get?
It was bad. I kept coughing and turning the mic off and apologizing. And I should have just said, can you let somebody else go first and I'll come back? But I didn't even think of that. I was just trying to breathe again. So that was bad. That was like the most embarrassing thing that's happened.
Oh my gosh, there's so many embarrassing, silly, funny, scary things that have happened, you know. My favorite thing that ever happened was I finally got booked at Harvey's Comedy Club, my home club. On the
Wow.
I got booked on the main stage for female night, not, you know, not just a regular comedy. It had to be the night, the token night, you know. Okay, we'll stop everything and shut them up for a while. So I'm up there with fellow comedians who are female, and it's Portland, so you don't really know. And so we're up there, and they're all dressed in grunge clothes. That's the thing in Portland, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I'm not about that. I wear a prom gown and hooker heels on stage.
You do. You always look beautiful.
Thank you. And so I'm up there in a white gown, and I thought, you know, I was going to have a problem with the dress staying on me. I thought I was going to have a Janet Jackson moment the whole time. And it had been raining, and it was a white gown, and it was a little too long. And so it was covered in mud the last couple inches, and it was hanging down below the floor. You know, I mean, it was dragging like a wedding gown, and up on top, it looked like a hooker, and down below, it looked like a wedding trail of mud. But nobody really cared. They just noticed this lady on stage in a gown and thought it was cool.
That's so neat. Yeah, Portland, it never stops raining.
No.
But it's gorgeous. It's so green. San Diego, everything's always brown. So Portland is beautiful.
What's the biggest goal in life that you have, and the biggest goal in comedy? What's pushing you in life and in comedy?
Oh, just to be happy in life, you know, just be happy. That is the biggest goal we can always, you know, we can hope to achieve. That's the only thing that's really important, you know, is that we're happy and we enjoy our lives. In comedy, I would love just to get booked in real brick and mortar places anywhere, you know. I will travel for comedy.
Are you talking about the Three Little Pigs booking you?
I will do them. I will do any storybook character, Cinderella, Snow White, even the big bad wolf.
That's so cool. If you guys want to have a comedian who is funny to come on Zoom or in brick and mortar, you got to have her, because she's so authentic, and she's exactly in the moment, and she has no agenda. She's not there like trying to scold people. She's just up there with and she's telling how she really feels, and she has no animosity for all the stuff she's been through in her life. Can you imagine? Look at her. She's like, I've erased it. I'm about comedy. She's just pure joy. That's what you are. I think that should be your name, Pure Joy.
Oh, you are so sweet. Yeah, I'm kind of questioning the Carol Johnson. It was just a basic name, you know? So I'm still thinking, is it too late to change my name? Is it, you know?
Yeah.
I was even thinking maybe just Carol. It's like.
Absolutely. Carol Pure Joy Johnson.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, bearing my soul on stage. It's cheaper than therapy.
It is. It is. What's your favorite joke that sometimes goes over and sometimes doesn't? Every comic has a joke there that, gets lackluster results, but you refuse to give up on it.
You know, there's one that I keep trying to sell, and I tried it last night a little bit different, because I think it's hysterical. It's my life, it's my experience, and it's it's true. It's like, I loved that my husband started working out every day, but then he dyed his hair and bought a sports car and traded me in for a newer model.
And
And
that
then
doesn't,
sometimes I say I'm a perfect example of midlife crisis roadkill. People don't, you see, you're laughing, I laugh. Most of the time people go, oh.
oh, please.
So last night I said, I've been twisting it to like a wrestling match. So then I say that and then I scream, get ready to bumble and Tinder and Match. It's a midlife crisis smackdown. And they laughed at that one last night. So maybe I'm thinking about maybe pulling that further away.
I love that. You mean adding more to it?
Yeah, like this morning I was going on through my head thinking, okay, if you've got two contenders, maybe the one will be like the bad things of midlife crisis that happen, not a person, but things, like hair plugs or,
Yes.
and then maybe good things in midlife. So I'm still trying to work that out. I love that joke. I've been doing it. That's one of my first jokes and I think it's funny.
I think it's hysterical.
Thank you. It would probably work out in an all-female mic.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
it's usually the guys that go, oh, that's so sad. It's not sad. I'm using my lemons to make lemonade.
Yes. So my favorite joke right now is, because it changes, is that I love getting compliments and attention, and but really, white men, you need to step up your game, because I'm getting tired of being told I look good for my age, and I like it, and I'm getting sick of it, and that's why I like black men. And then the place they laugh about it, but they don't, sometimes they're like, is this racist? And it's not about, I'm actually saying I don't stereotypical like black men because of their large penis. I like them because they know how to give good compliments.
Right.
How much better could I be as a human? Give me a break.
That's funny. Yeah, I hate being called ma'am. It's such a negative sound, ma'am. So one nice thing about wearing a mask, you're usually called miss now because they don't know. Cheaper
Yes,
than a facelift. It's great.
it is. It is. And people don't know when you're like if somebody pisses me off and they come too close to me, I'm mumbling, stay the fuck up, would you?
I know.
And they don't see that,
6 feet. How can they not know 6 feet? I've never dated anyone 6 feet, so I have a hard time with that. But yeah, I had a kid, like I was trying to check myself out and he reached across me for a candy bar. And I'm like, if I die just because you were craving sugar, I'm going to come back and haunt you.
Like, I don't get how men think they're going to understand it's the men. They don't even have it under control what 6 inches is, how are they going to figure out 6? They have to, because of men, they have to put the markings on the floor. That's not for women. We know what 6 inches is, 6 feet. We know how many yards a football field is better than they do.
That's right. I always thought, men were the map makers and only they could say, a half an inch was like 5 miles. So
You know what I like about your humor? It delves into the goddess area of your personal sexual being without being crude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I thought that was sweet. That was a nice title.
Right. And I mean, when you're on stage and you refer to your sexual being, you don't go too far. You don't make it so graphic that it's a turnoff.
Yeah, I don't. I do PG-13 comedy because everyone said you can get more bookings that way. So yeah, my first booking at Flappers, I didn't audition. I went up specifically for their all-female open mic, right? And they booked me from that. I thought it was great. And it was fun to meet all of these wonderful, incredibly creative, funny women.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it was great.
What do you plan to do in your life to give back to younger comics?
Get off stage.
See what I mean, guys? She's so incredibly in the moment. Was that a beautiful answer or what?
You're sweet.
That was great. Yeah, I love hearing the different goals comedians have, like, and what's the one venue you want to do before you die?
Gosh, I actually did an open mic just at the Comedy Store because I used to go there and I watched Robin Williams and I watched. So for me, just standing on the stage where they had oh, it was like such a rush. I would love to do the Comedy Store in a real show. That would be great.
Wow. So you guys
Any
give her
comedy,
a chance.
the Ice House, the Improv, Caroline's. I would love to go to Caroline's.
Look up my sister, Linda Smith.
I
She's
will.
new talent booker.
I will. I'll go. I know your twin.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Don't tell her that I sent you. It doesn't get you in.
Even the Duplex. The Duplex is a little club in New York City, Greenwich Village, where Joan Rivers got her start. I would love to do that. I did their Zoom mic. So I'm hoping, because it's one of the oldest clubs, that they make it through the pandemic. I would love to be there.
Wow.
And I do have an invitation. It's called the Sultry Wench in Arizona. I did, there's a female comedian does a radio show in Arizona. And that's where she is. So I'm hoping to be able to do it on stage there. That would be great. Like I said, I will go to any stage, small stages, large stages, any stage, in the middle of the street. If people will just let me make jokes.
Let me know if you know any women that want to travel the country for a year.
I think that would be awesome. I think that would be absolutely, I would totally do it. I would love to.
I want to do that.
I'm your first sign up. We'll we'll get ourselves a name. We'll, start traveling.
Okay. Perfect.
That would be so much fun.
It would. We could do it. If we have to sleep in a parking lot at a truck stop, who cares? They got showers.
Yeah, I know, right?
I want to grind. I want to do what it takes. I want everybody across America to hear my jokes in person. I do. I want to bring the comedy to them.
I think that's a great idea. I know there's so many people. The nice thing about Zoom is it's giving people a chance to watch comedy that may not have comedy clubs or bars that have comedy in their areas in like smaller towns. So I think it's been good for that. And I've heard from other people, Zoom comedy is not going to go away. It's just going to be another art form.
Good. That's great. I've heard that too. Like what we're doing right now, somebody pointed out yesterday to me, this is the end goal. Usually you're doing live comedy to get on TV, and this is a TV medium and you're hoping to get on stage. So most people
more people watch their computers now than watch TV anyway. So this is perfect. And I'm still so honored that you had me on your show, because I know you've had Sinbad. I've watched some of your other shows. You're really good at interviewing people. So thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Absolutely. Carol, before you go, I have to know where you want traction on the internet. Where do you want more followers?
My Instagram, as you see there, Carol Johnson, LOL. That's really easy to find. My Twitter is a bad handle, but I guess they don't let you change it because it's very old. I've had my Twitter for a long time. It's at SK8 4, the number 4 FN.
Okay, perfect.
I do like skating. At least I did. Now I'm a little bit more afraid to fall, but oh well.
So you've done skating, huh?
I did. Oh, I used to love in San Diego. We've got the well, and when I lived in LA has got the best boardwalk because you can roller skate from like Hermosa Beach or Redondo Beach all the way past the airport in LA. It's amazing. So, and they've got a separate bike path and a pedestrian path, which is great. But
Oh,
yeah, when I was young, I would roller skate the Bay in San Diego.
oh my
Just
gosh.
on the sidewalks. Yeah, it's great exercise. I
Where
still
can,
have my skates.
oh my gosh. Where can people see you on your Zoom TV as the goddess of comedy?
That's on a channel called ASYTV. It's a subscription channel, but they can find it through that. And I'm on Love on Lockdown. They've got a bunch of different TV shows, a lot of paranormal stuff. But yeah, that would be great for them to get more followers as well. Would be a very cool thing for them.
Okay. Anywhere else you want people to find you? Do you want them looking at your YouTube videos?
You know, I only have a few up. I should probably, well, it's hard. You can't get videos until you get live comedy. I can't wait to do live comedy to get more videos to put on the internet. It's like, it's a full circle kind of thing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So, where, if people want to talk to you about booking you, where do you want to be contacted?
They can contact me at either of those, or they can even email me at cjohnson296@gmail.com. I would love to be booked. Book me.
Got it.
Me, book me.
I'd like to leave the floor open for you to talk 2 to 5 minutes about anything you want to say to people who have watched this video and didn't know you before or know you. Anybody that wants to book you, anybody that wants to, just a wrap up, like just in closing, you get to do the closing.
Oh, you are so cool. Thank you so much. It's like, well, in closing, book me, book me, book me, book me. I'll travel. I will travel for comedy. I will travel countries, cities, towns. As long as I can get there, I want to be there. But I need a vaccine first, so just give me a couple months.
I love that. I love your spirit. And we're going to work on traveling to the United States for a year.
I think that would be great. I always figured I'm older, I'll end up in Branson. You know, Branson, it's like I guess kind of, I don't really know, maybe country, Western. I've got a friend, her parents always go there. So I figure when I'm older, I'll end up on cruise ships and probably Branson. I'm guessing it's great because doing comedy, you don't need to be, really like strong or healthy, or you just need to kind of keep your brain intact and be able to talk. So I figure I'll be able to do this for a long, long time.
Yes. I can see you on a cruise ship doing comedy.
I've never done a cruise. It horrifies me. I've seen Titanic.
Have you ever thought of doing a cruise ship comedy?
Yeah, I've heard that that's a great place to get booked. I did read, and again, I don't remember his name. He had a horror story being booked on a cruise because he bombed really badly. And the people, I guess it was an English liner. And so I guess he didn't really bomb. They said, we're just British. We don't really laugh out loud a lot, which I don't really believe, but he said he was stuck on the ship with those people. So bombing, that would be the worst place to bomb, right? You'd bomb and then you couldn't get away from them.
Yes. It's so hard. I've got friends that have done cruise ship comedy, and it's wonderful and it pays well, and it's horrible in certain ways. So, but I can see you relating to so many people on a cruise ship.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a scary thing to think about, being stuck in the middle of the ocean.
Totally.
Yeah, and not being able to escape and leave. That would be a little creepy for me.
Yeah.
But
No.
I'll do it. I'll do cruise ships. I'll do fishing boats. Submarines. Book me. Over water, underwater, airplanes, maybe.
Helicopters.
Helicopters. I'll do helicopters.
You could be the tour guide. You know, the pilot can pilot the helicopter and you can make people forget they're up in the air dangling.
That's right. We have 2 exits just right next to you, because you can see out the windows of the helicopter. That would be an easy job. No bathrooms, no cleanup, no drinks, no, helicopter comic. I like that. That would be good.
You could go from being a helicopter parent to being a helicopter.
Being a helicopter comic. I like that. That's a good joke.
You can have it. Well, thank you so much. I will put your intro and the links you told me about that are up there, Carol Johnson on Instagram and Twitter, SK84FN, and also your ASYTV scenario, Goddess of Comedy on Love of Lockdown.
Yeah, goddess of humor. Love on lockdown.
What's that?
Goddess of humor. Love on
Goddess
lockdown.
of Humor.
Their new season will actually be starting, I think, February 4th. And I've got a whole new, I'm going to be reviewing books and movies. And so that should be fun too.
Wow.
In a humorous vein, of course. So.
Oh, wow. You've got a brain.
I kind of.
You're a threat.
If I only had a brain. One of my favorite movies.
I love that show so much. Who do you identify with most?
Probably the scarecrow. I have a heart. Don't want to go home. I'd rather be on the road. And I'm pretty courageous, right? So it's got to be the scarecrow.
I relate to the one that with the broken brain because I have a brain injury.
No, you would never know.
I've healed myself. Isn't that scary?
Wow, no, that's amazing. That just shows you how powerful our bodies are. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that story sometime.
Yeah, I like telling it at the end of my set so I can get a standing ovation.
That works. Whatever works, right?
I'll see you later, Carol Johnson. You're just a delight.
Oh, Linda, you are awesome. Thank you so much for having me again. This has been a blast. A great way to start the day.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
I miss you already.
Oh, I miss you already. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.